Something is moving through millions of American kitchens undetected. Not a recalled product, not a new discovery, something older. Something most people over 50 consumed before noon today. If you want to learn about this particular doctor-approved ingredient that is silently causing kidney damage, make sure you watch this video to the end. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. We love seeing how far our stories reach. Hi, I am Dr. Alistair Vance, a nutritional biochemist with 2 decades on the front lines of senior healthcare. What I'm about to share with you today was what I discovered 5 years ago in Denver, Colorado. I spent over a decade watching patients walk into my office convinced they were doing everything right, eating carefully, staying active, following the advice, and still, their kidney function was declining in ways that shocked even them. I remember talking to a patient who said, "I felt completely fine." But those 4 words, he said, are the most dangerous ones I have heard, because that's exactly how kidney damage works. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't send warnings. It builds silently until one day the numbers on a lab report tell a story the body never did. So right now I'm going to share with you my discovery. No complicated medical language, just the truth, starting with the one ingredient most people never suspect. First, let's discuss why kidney damage stays hidden for years. In my years of practice, I've had conversations that stay with me long after the patient leaves the room. Barbara, a 64-year-old retired school administrator from the Phoenix suburbs, was one of them. She came in for a routine checkup. No major complaints, no dramatic symptoms. She walked in, sat down, and smiled the way people do when they're confident everything is fine. It wasn't. Her lab results showed her kidneys were functioning at a fraction of what they should be for someone her age. And the most difficult part of that conversation wasn't delivering the news. It was watching her face when she asked quietly, almost to herself, "But how?" I felt completely fine. That question follows me, because the answer is both simple and deeply uncomfortable. The kidneys are 2 of the most hard-working organs in the human body. Think of them as your body's built-in filtration system. Every single day they filter over 200 quarts of blood. They pull out waste. They regulate blood pressure. They signal the body to produce red blood cells that carry oxygen to every tissue that keeps you alive. They do all of this without a single symptom, without a sound, without asking for anything in return. And that's exactly the problem. Because when something starts going wrong, when that filtration system begins to wear down, the kidneys don't send an alarm. There's no warning light. No pain in the early stages. No obvious sign that anything has changed at all. A person can lose 40, even 50% of their kidney function and still feel completely normal. This is what doctors call the silent decline. And in my experience, it is one of the most misunderstood realities in medicine today. By the time most patients start feeling symptoms, fatigue that won't lift, swelling in the ankles, changes in how often they use the bathroom, the damage is already significant. And in many cases, it cannot be fully reversed. We can slow the progression, we can manage it, but we cannot undo what years of quiet strain have already done. That's what makes this so urgent. And that's why I'm here, not to frighten anyone, but to arm you with information before that window closes. Because the earlier you understand what's putting pressure on your kidneys, the more control you actually have, and control is everything. Now here's where it gets important. Most people assume kidney strain comes from obvious things. But what I've seen tells a very different story. The pressure building on your kidneys right now, it's most likely coming from something far closer to home. So what is quietly pushing your kidneys toward that breaking point? Here's something most people don't realize. The kidneys you have at 55 are not the same kidneys you had at 35, not even close. After 50, the human body undergoes changes that are gradual, quiet. But what's happening inside the kidneys during this phase of life is something every adult deserves to understand. Starting around your mid-40s, kidney filtration rate begins to decline naturally. That's not a disease, that's biology. But here's what makes it critical. As that filtration rate drops, the kidneys become significantly more sensitive to everyday stress. Think of it like a high-mileage engine. A brand new engine can run hard, But put that same pressure on an engine with 200,000 miles? The tolerance is different. The cost of ignoring small problems becomes much, much higher. That's the body after 50. Now add two of the most common conditions affecting American adults today: high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. High blood pressure forces the kidneys to work harder. It damages the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys responsible for filtration. Type 2 diabetes, meanwhile, floods those same vessels with excess glucose. It stiffens them, narrows them, and quietly, over years, it degrades the kidney's ability to do its job. The numbers here are not small. According to the National Kidney Foundation, diabetes and high blood pressure together account for nearly 2/3 of all kidney failure cases. 2/3. And yet, the majority of adults living with early kidney strain don't know it yet. Now, here's what makes this even more personal. The typical American lifestyle after 50 isn't just a diet issue. It's a kidney issue, and it's adding stress to a system that already has less room to absorb it. Every meal, every habit, every overlooked label, it compounds. So if the kidneys are already more vulnerable after 50, what are the specific everyday habits making it worse? That's exactly what we're getting into next. Before we continue, you and most people watching right now might never see another video from this channel, all because you forgot to subscribe. So please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It is literally the only way you tell me that the hours researching, writing, and editing is worth it. Now, let's continue. I want to talk about something that rarely makes headlines, but shows up in my patients' histories more consistently than almost anything else. It's not a diagnosis. Not a food. One of my patients, a 68-year-old retired logistics manager from the Columbus area named Gerald, came in about 2 years ago. Good guy. Careful with his diet. Did what he was told. But his kidney function numbers kept drifting in the wrong direction, and neither of us could immediately explain why. So I asked him to walk me through a typical day. He woke up, had breakfast, sat down to watch the morning news, answered some emails, had lunch, watched more television, maybe a short drive in the afternoon, dinner, bed, and water? He thought about it. A couple cups of coffee in the morning, he said. Maybe a soda with lunch. There it was. Here's what most people don't consider. The kidneys depend on two things: circulation and hydration. Think of your bloodstream like a river. A healthy, flowing river is constantly moving. Now slow that river down, let it sit, let it stagnate. What happens to the water? It thickens, it collects debris. The filtration downstream becomes overwhelmed. That's what prolonged sitting does. Without enough fluid intake, the blood becomes more concentrated. The kidneys have to work harder to filter a thicker, more waste-dense bloodstream with less circulatory support. And this isn't just a retiree problem. Desk workers in their 50s, parents running on coffee and convenience, they're all in this category. The fix, honestly, is not complicated. A 10-minute walk after meals makes a measurable difference in circulation. Swapping one daily beverage for a full glass of water is a real trackable change, small, consistent, cumulative. Gerald made those adjustments, but lifestyle is only part of the story. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you had a headache and reached for something in the medicine cabinet? There's a category of commonly used over-the-counter pain relievers, completely harmless for occasional use. The issue is when occasional becomes habitual. I had a patient, a 61-year-old woman named Diane from the Tampa suburbs. Diane had lived with chronic lower back discomfort for years, and every single day she reached for the same anti-inflammatory. It was just part of her routine, as automatic as morning coffee, as unquestioned as brushing her teeth. She had no idea it was quietly affecting her kidneys. NSAIDs work by reducing inflammation, but that same mechanism also reduces blood flow to the kidneys. Reduced blood flow becomes a recurring condition. Week after week, month after month. The kidneys, already working harder after 50, never fully get the circulation recovery they need. Habitual use without awareness is where the risk quietly builds. The conversation I had with Diane changed how she managed her discomfort. We found alternatives. and her numbers, slowly, steadily, began to respond. The lesson isn't fear, it's attention. Because if lifestyle and common medications are already putting pressure on the kidneys, what happens when you add the third stressor? This one is sitting in your kitchen right now. If that has you curious, good. Hit subscribe and stay right here. Because what's coming next is the part of this conversation most doctors never get around to having. Share this now. So let's talk about your kitchen, just honestly. There's an ingredient hiding in plain sight in the American food supply. It doesn't announce itself. It's sodium. The sodium most Americans consume isn't coming from the salt shaker on the table. It's already inside the food before it ever reaches the plate. Bread, pasta sauce, frozen dinners. A single slice of bread can carry 100 to 200 milligrams. Jarred pasta sauce, 400 to 600. A frozen dinner, frequently over 800. A can of soup can contain more than half the recommended daily intake. The kidneys are the body's primary regulators of sodium balance. When intake is consistently high, they work overtime. That pressure elevates blood pressure and causes fluid retention. It's the bread at breakfast, the sauce at lunch, day after day. Sodium is hiding in foods people trust completely. Crackers, deli meats, even certain cereals. Your kidneys feel every milligram. And here's the part that stops most people cold. Sodium isn't even the ingredient I came here to talk about today. What I'm about to reveal next is something far more unexpected. This ingredient has been recommended by doctors, endorsed by dietitians. It sits in kitchens with a reputation so solid that questioning it almost feels irresponsible. Parents give it to their children. The ingredient is fructose, specifically high fructose corn syrup and the concentrated fructose found in products widely marketed as natural or healthy. Fruit juices, agave, energy drinks. Elevated uric acid is a driver of kidney inflammation and declining filtration. It also raises blood pressure, meaning fructose hits the kidneys from multiple directions simultaneously. I think of Clifton, a 67-year-old retired firefighter from Denver, cut out soda years ago, switched to fruit juice, agave and coffee and protein bars. He was proud of those changes. But his kidney function began declining. The fructose load was generating a steady stream of uric acid. We adjusted his approach. Within a year, his kidney function had stabilized. That's the power of knowing. Start reading labels for fructose. Be skeptical of agave and concentrated fruit juice. Choose whole fruit. The fiber slows absorption. And talk to your doctor about your uric acid levels. This isn't about fear, it's about control. Informed, practical, sustainable control. Patients who protect their kidney function do it by understanding what's actually happening. You now have that knowledge. Before we continue, you don't owe me a subscription, but if this video made you feel anything at all, disappearing without supporting it says a lot. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now let's continue. So let's bring this all together. 4 hidden stressors: inactivity and dehydration, habitual use of over-the-counter pain relievers, excess sodium buried in foods, and concentrated fructose. 4 stressors, all quiet, all cumulative. But 20 years of practice has shown me the kidneys are remarkably resilient when supported. They are not fragile. It is not too late. A short walk, 1 more glass of water, reading labels, a conversation with your doctor, small, consistent, cumulative, in the right direction. That is how kidney health is protected. Awareness, applied daily. If this conversation has shifted something for you, drop a "I'm making changes" in the comments. And if someone you love is over 50, share this with them today. Not tomorrow, today. What surprised you most? Tell me in the comments. Everything shared took years to understand. If you close this video without sharing it, someone you love stays in the dark. Don't let that sit with you. Hit subscribe for ongoing, straightforward guidance. Like this video so more people find it, and share it right now before life gets in the way.